the whole Be More idea is just about having people realise that no matter where you're at now, or no matter what your surroundings are, or no matter what story you've got, or whatever the limitations that you think you have, that they don't exist. And that's what I want to try and represent in this podcast, and try and inspire people to believe that, just to believe in themselves, because everyone has this opportunity. Everyone wakes up in the morning and they have a day in front of them where they have a choice, where they can decide whether they want to go and attack the day and try and make a difference and improve the things that they've got going on in their life, or they can be a victim and just feel like they can't make a difference and feel that their life is already predetermined. And that sucks, and I don't want anyone to ever think that. What is going on, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 12 of the Be More podcast. I'm very excited to be back, and I'm solo again. So I have interviewed a guest, although, well, I say interviewed a guest, I got a guest on the show last week, and we basically arranged to record the podcast properly. So I'd say I got him on the show. Basically, I sealed someone, went and had a chat with him in a coffee, and I am very excited to film that episode of the podcast, because I just wish I had the camera there and then with me, because we spoke for about half an hour. And I was telling somebody the other day about the conversation we had, and it was just so real. And I think if only I'd have recorded the first conversation, because I've never met this guy before. I knew of him, but I was told I need to meet this guy because he's got like a powerful story. His mindset is really fucking interesting. And yeah, I was blown away, interested, fascinated, and the questions I feel like I was asking him, it would have been incredible to share that on the podcast. But hopefully, when we meet again, we can go through an awesome episode, then we can share that with you guys, and it will add some value, because yeah, his story is super cool, and it's a little bit different to everyone else's who we've interviewed so far as well, so it gives something a little bit different. And that's what I want this podcast to always be about and represent, not the fact that everyone's the same, because everyone goes through a different journey, and our way of going about moving forward is always normally different as well. There's normally similar traits, and there's similar things that we go about doing, but the whole Be More idea is just about having people realise that no matter where you're at now, or no matter what your surroundings are, or no matter what story you've got, or whatever the limitations that you think you have, that they don't exist. And that's what I want to try and represent in this podcast, and try and inspire people to believe that, just to believe in themselves, because everyone has this opportunity. Everyone wakes up in the morning and they have a day in front of them where they have a choice, where they can decide whether they want to go and attack the day and try and make a difference and improve the things that they've got going on in their life, or they can be a victim and just feel like they can't make a difference and feel that their life is already predetermined. And that sucks, and I don't want anyone to ever think that. So I want people to realise that life is fucking short, and you have to go out there and take it with both hands, and just realise that I'm only going to be here for a short time. In that time I'm going to be here, I'm going to make the most of every fucking minute. And that's what I want people to realise. And it shouldn't take like a motivational meme or a fucking post on social media to make you realise that, or someone to say, or for someone, like, perspective is massive, right? And sometimes you'll see someone go through some real bad pain, or someone who will pass away, and it won't be until that happens that makes someone wake up and realise, I need to start fucking make my life count. And I don't want people to go through that kind of pain to realise that you need to wake up today and fucking chase the things you want, because there's no other way. For me, in my opinion, what's the point in doing anything else rather than chasing what you want and the things you want to achieve and the person you want to become? And that the way you are now is not how you're going to be forever, and the way you are now in a year's time is going to be completely different, and you can determine how different that's going to be and how much further you're going to move needles between where you are now and where you want to be by your daily actions. And I think that's what I want to touch on today in this podcast. So I've had some awesome feedback for the podcast so far, but one thing I have noticed is, well, people have basically asked me to go more into the mindset stuff, which is obviously something that I'm fascinated by. Like, human psychology has fascinated me for a long, long time, and it's got to a point now where I'm like, every single day I want to try and, I'm doing a tangent here, but I'm going to get to the point in a second, but every single day I want to try and develop in some way, shape or form, just so I can add value to people with regards to psychology, because it's the thing that controls everything, our mindset. And if I've got more width so that I can help more people, then that's something that I definitely want to be able to achieve. Whereas at first for me, in the early stages of my career, it was more like, right, I can help people with their fitness and I can help people with their diet. Whereas now I feel like I can add value in every sense of the imagination, well, not every sense, I'm still fucking learning, but that's why I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'll read for an hour every morning before I even start my day, because I want to try and develop. Like my goal this year is to try and read a minimum of like 75 books. So I'm trying to read physically one book a week, and then I'm going to audiobook the rest, and I can probably try and do. Well, Audible lets me download 2 books a month, so I'm looking at, if I can do that, that's 24 plus 52. I'm looking at about 75 books this year, 76 books. So that's something that I really want to try and achieve. And then over the space of 5 years, that's what I'm thinking. That by the time I'm 30, that's a lot of fucking books that I've read. And I'm making up for lost time, because when I was younger, I was a twat and I just drunk vodka Red Bulls and went and got hammered. Like, it was fucking fun, but it wasn't improving me as a person so that I could give value to other people. And that's what my main goal now is. Just I enjoy giving to other people. That's something I'm becoming more and more self-aware of every single book that I read and every single relationship that I create. And I've realised that my favourite thing to do is just to bring value into, just to try and help other people live a better life, because that makes my life better. But anyway, the podcast today, is going to be about discipline. So mindset, discipline, it's probably the greatest thing that you can take control of is your discipline and the way you act and the way you operate on a daily basis, because it's going to guarantee that you get closer to where you want to be over the next 12 months. So if we look at things over the next 12 months, like, I can guarantee that if you control your self-discipline, or at least begin to start controlling your self-discipline, that from where you are now to where you want to be over the next 12 months is going to be a drastic change. And there's 3 things that I want to touch on today. So we're going to touch on taking responsibility, character, and goals that you've got. So if that sounds like boring, then I'm going to make it as not boring as possible. And trust me, I'm going to try and... It's not boring. These 3 things will change the way you look at your discipline and the way you act. And hopefully that will then enable you to listen to this podcast and think, right, this is the fucking start now. I'm going to start taking control of my environment and the way I act on a daily basis. Because I always would believe what Jack's saying. Like, I'm not a fucking tree. I'm not going to be stood here forever. Like, I want to move forward in my life. I want to do different things, and I've got these goals, and I can achieve them no matter what someone might say to me, or like the person holding me back might be saying, "Oh, you're stuck in that job forever now, mate," or whatever. Like, that person can get fucked. That they've got this closed mindset where they can have that. They're not listening to people who are actually enabling them to believe in themselves, because you can achieve whatever the fuck you want to achieve. The people that are doing these crazy, amazing things that you're looking and thinking, how are they doing that? They're no different to you are. They've just developed a mindset where they think, I'm going to do that. And then they go and make it happen. Well, no matter what it is, no matter what it takes to go and achieve that, they'll reverse engineer it, and they'll be like, right, this is what I need to do to get that goal. And they'll make it happen, regardless of what people might say to them, or regardless of what obstacles might be in their way. And that this is so real that you can do whatever the fuck it is you want to do. Like, I met a guy when I went travelling, and he was a German guy in New Zealand. And when I was in New Zealand, I think I was 2 weeks into my travel, and I already spent a lot of money. And I was like, how much money have you spent? I don't know how they even come into conversation, but I remember him talking about like the fact he'd not spent any money really. And he was living, because I remember actually watching him eat a sandwich. He was eating peanut butter sandwiches, and I was cooking up some chicken and trying to make something, and I was starving. And I remember going to him, that looks nice, mate, to be fair, a bit of peanut butter and toast, I'm a big fan. And he went, this is all I've eaten for the last 6 months. And I was just like, what the fuck? And he was like, I'm serious, like, I've worked out that every single sandwich cost me 24p or something, or 24 cents or euros or whatever. I don't know what he was saying, because he was talking, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he literally worked out that if he was to eat peanut butter in a sandwich or on one slice of bread, like 5 times a day, he showed me his before and after, he lost so much weight. And if he was to sleep in his car, he would then have enough money to stay in a hostel 1 night a week, because he was in a hostel this night, because I was in there in that hostel, and me and my ex-girlfriend, we had a private room, and I was thinking, and I had that like a private room mindset for the whole trip, and this guy was living in his car, and he's like, I've been travelling for 6 months, and it's cost him something like, he spent less money in 6 months than I spent in 2 weeks in New Zealand. And I was just like, fucking respect. Like, this guy wants to do something, and regardless of what, like, most people would have gone, fuck that you've only got $1,000, there's no point, you shouldn't do that. He's like, nah, I've got $1,000, that's enough. I'm gonna go and fucking see the most amazing things, understand the culture, like, just immerse myself into that kind of environment, And I guarantee that guy learned a lot. And I guarantee whatever he's doing now is greater than the person who said to him, you shouldn't do that, you've only got £1,000. It's just a different perception to have, and a different perspective and a different way to look at life. He's seen £1,000 as an opportunity to and to put himself out of his comfort zone. It's similar to a podcast that I listened to last week by, his name's Steve Bartlett. He interviewed a guy called Fun for Louis. That's not his name, but that's his YouTube profile. And basically this guy's a traveller who's gone viral, and he's made a massive profile, and he travels the world, and he does vlogs on it on a daily basis, and he's gone viral. He's got millions of followers, millions of fans, and they were like, what makes you a YouTube success? What makes you like this great success who can travel the world and inspire so many people? And he said, to be honest, I literally went traveling and I had no money. And he said the first trip wasn't about being a YouTuber, it was about traveling and just seeing the world, and I did it with no money. He left a job where he was earning okay money, and everyone said to him, you're fucking stupid to leave, you're earning this much money, which to him wasn't enough to fuel his lifestyle anyway. It was just deemed as a good amount of money in society. So he was like, that's an okay wage, I can't do this forever, I'm going to go and travel. And he was literally by the side of the street trying to hitchhike because he couldn't afford any kind of transport. And then 6, 7, 8 years later, the guy didn't lose faith in what he wanted to do, and he wanted to continue to see things. And now he's making lots of money, and he's making a difference in the world because he didn't give up hope on what he wanted to do. And that's so important to realise. And I think if you can share that kind of mindset, then you're going to go so far. Whereas if you have the mindset of, oh, I didn't lose weight this week, that's me done, I'm destined to be fat forever. Or the mindset of, I'm in this job forever, or I'm miserable, like I'm in this relationship forever and it's toxic. Like, no, you're not. Like, you don't have to be. You can do whatever you fucking want. It's just not. It's having that self-belief to go and do that, and then like take the actions on what's required to then get you out of that slump and move you forwards towards the things that you want to achieve. And that's what the first point I want to talk about today, which is taking responsibility. Take responsibility for where you are now and for everything that's happened, and take ownership of that. Like the good, the bad, the ugly. Everything that's happened, that's created who you are now. Be proud of that and take ownership on that and be responsible for that. Don't look at it and think, oh, I wouldn't be where I am, or I'd be doing what that guy's doing now if it wasn't for this happening in my life. Like, fucking shut up. That's happened, and that helped create who you are. It doesn't define you. It doesn't, like, if something bad happens to you, that doesn't mean that's the end. Like that's, if anything, an opportunity for you to learn from that experience, and then ensure that you take every fucking action you can to make sure you don't let that happen again, or to make sure that you if it does happen again, you've got a better way of dealing with it, and then you're improving constantly. Like, that's so real. Like, I could look at being cheated on as a reason for me to be fucking like completely broken, or do you know what I mean? Like, you could use that as a reason to be down. I use it as a reason to be fucking buzzing. I was like, good, it's taught me something. Like, it'll enable me to be a better person next time around. Maybe I'll take, it's my fault. That's the way I see it. Like, I'll take responsibility on everything that's happened to me, good and bad. And because it's my fault. I'm not going to be a victim to something, because then it's going to stop me from moving forward. And then that then stops me making decisions in my life that can then bring other opportunities into my life. Because the law of attraction is fucking real. Like, if you go through some kind of pain, and that changes your mindset and your headspace so that you're a negative person or someone that attracts bad energy, that will happen. Whereas if you see it as opportunities, you can think, do you know what? That's happened. That sucks, but I can pull through this and I can go and get better. Then that's what you should go and do. And all of a sudden, you daily work on that every single day, and then this energy will come towards you because that's what you're attracting. And that is so real. And people won't believe in it. And I used to watch the videos on law of attraction, and I used to think, I don't really know about this because I feel like I'm doing this and this and this, and I'm not getting all that. And then when you realise, when you start doing it fucking properly, it starts coming into your life. Like, you don't even I can't even begin to explain. Like, I used to read books on surround yourself with the people you surround yourself with, and the 5 people you surround yourself with, that you're the average of them people. And I was thinking, and they was like, if you do this and this and this, these people will start coming into your life. And I was like, nah, they won't. That's bullshit. I've got these people around me now. They're my fucking friends. This is my circle. It's never going to change. And then all of a sudden, in the last 12 months, my circle has changed dramatically, because of the 12 months before that and the way I was being for that whole 12 months. my actions, my disciplines, my daily tasks, and my mindset and my energy and what I was doing, that's created my new circle, because that brings things into your life based on the things that you're doing. And that's so true. And I didn't think it was before. And now things are happening in my life now where I'm just like, fucking hell, this stuff's like real. And I used to watch Conor McGregor and him talk about the law of attraction. And I used to think, yeah, but he's just an unbelievable UFC fighter. Like, he's going to get this, he's going to get success anyway. He's going to visualize things and it's going to come. Like, visualization has worked for me as well. And I'm not Conor McGregor and I'm not the best UFC fighter of all time. So just, if you're in a bit of a rut, they think, I won't be in this place. Like, I know the goal I've got set. Make it individual to you and just think, I'm going to hustle and I'm going to fucking get there. And then visualize it every single day. And then think about it all the time. And the more you think about it, the more it moves into the part of your brain that then controls what you fucking do every single day. And then all of a sudden your actions completely change. And then with them actions, your results completely change. And then when your results change, all of a sudden the people around you begin to change. That the people who you thought were your best pals, they're giving you shit because you're moving. And then all the people that you thought were dicks, actually they're fucking cool. And they're helping to add more value into you and add more success. And then all of a sudden you completely change your circle. Or you might have the same circles, or you might create a few more. And you might then create opportunities for people around you as well. And this is what happens. But you have to start taking action on and responsibility for what has happened. That isn't who you are. That doesn't define you, but it will if you let it, and it will if you let it become a victim of the things that have happened. And you can think, oh, this year, like for example, I'm 26 this year. Like, I see that as a massive opportunity. I'm still thinking I'm not even getting started till I'm 30. That's the way I feel, and that's what I've told myself from when I was 21. I was like, I'll start when I'm 30. Like, that's when I know I've got to start being fucking practical. Between now and then, I'm taking every fucking risk there is. And that's my mindset, and I will continue to do that. And I'll probably get to 30 and I'll be like, let's fucking move the bar. I want to make more, I want to take more risks. I want to be more fucking stupid, because I reckon when I'm 40 I'll start, or whatever. I've just got this thing in my head where I know that I can take every risk there is. And I want to go out and do whatever I can, because like I think the world has changed a little bit. There's been a bit of a shift where people used to think, at my age, 25 years ago, my dad would be like, right, this is probably when you should have kids. And whereas now I'm like, nah, like, that can wait for later, because I want to do the things I want to do. I want to make sure that if I bring someone into this fucking world, I want to be fucking completely like at ease with everything that I've done. And I want to be able to say, I've done this, and then I can add more value into that person's life who's come into this world and be like, because I've experienced different cultures and like that. This is where I see myself being. Like, I don't want to be someone who's got things that I want to do and then get stuck into something. And so that's, I think that, yeah, I don't know really where that even come from, but it's just seeing the world in a different way. Like, I didn't think this way before, and I was in toxic relationships that didn't enable me to think this way, because I was always thinking about, that's not this. I never had the opportunity to think forwardly and think big and think, and even just to get my head in a book and get up at 4 a.m. to read a book. I think previous girlfriends would look at me like I'm a fucking weirdo if I did that. They'd be like, what are you doing? Whereas now, like, you just don't let anyone into your life who's going to make you feel that way, because it's what you want to do and you want to try and develop and move on and move forward. And I reckon I've had about 25,000 tangents in these 17 and a half minutes that the podcast has been on, but hopefully my energy is just making you realise how passionate I feel about this and how much I want people to understand that your mindset is what dictates everything and that happens in your life. So if you're not happy with where you are, like, if you're good, like, this is completely irrelevant for you. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could be having a family. Like, I've got mates who are my age. They're settling down with a family, and I'm super happy for them, because that's what they want. And this isn't me saying if you're 26 you shouldn't have kids. This is me saying you should be fucking self-aware. That's all I'm saying. Like, I want my mates are the happiest they've been. Like, they're just having kids, and I'm so happy for them. And I'm fucking made up. I'm not judging them. Or would I judge someone who's 35 having kids and I'm thinking, oh, you're having it too late, mate? Like, it's so subjective. Life is subjective. Life is perceptions. Life is just so, yeah, you can't say to someone, you shouldn't do that. Like, I used to have this mindset where I would criticise other people. I don't know where they're at, so how dare I criticise other people? Like, they've got their own thing going on, their own story, their own reasons, their own perceptions, their own goals. Like, I don't have the right to say anything that would disregard any of that, so I just don't anymore. I just look and I try to understand, because that's the person that I've enabled myself to try and become via the reading, the self-development, and everything that I've done over the last few years, even like traveling, seeing different cultures, meeting different people. It's like I do my best now to not judge people. Like I just want to get to know people and understand them and see if I can add value and see if I can help and see if I can learn from them. That's where I've changed. Whereas before, I was an egotistical prick who would see someone and be like, how can I try and criticize them to make myself feel better because I'm not good. And that was where it was coming from. Whereas I'm good, so like I don't need to go and criticize someone else because I'm good how I am. I just want to improve and I want to help other people get better as well. So you can only like help people if you're filling, like if you're, what's that half cup saying? Like if you're full, then you can help others. Whereas if you can't help people from an empty cup, and I think, is that the saying? I think that's what the saying is. And I feel that's like real. And the screen just went funny. That's also a saying that I heard earlier today on a video that I was watching by Will Smith. He was just like, self-development is like a daily task of imagine trying to clear the ocean with a ladle. That you're never gonna fucking clear it. Just like you're never gonna get like your mind to where you fucking probably really want it. But it's a daily struggle of literally trying to fucking improve and understand that it's always gonna be progressive. It's the same as exercise. It's the same as your health. Like, and it's the same as like the self-development and your business and your career. Like, it's progressive. It's never going to end. That you aren't going to read one book and be fixed. One book can change your life, but you aren't going to read one book and then be like, I'm done now with that self-development stuff. Like, it's just a progressive thing. Same with the gym. You aren't going to do a 12-week program and be like, completed it. You could, and you would be a twat because you're going to lose results you got from that 12-week program pretty fucking quickly. Just like you follow a diet. You're like, I'm going to follow a diet for 4 weeks. You're an idiot if you follow a diet for 4 weeks because if it's got a shelf life, it isn't going to serve you and it isn't going to keep you the results unless you go on to a different diet afterwards. But this is what people need to understand. Like your diet, everyone that I set up now on a program, all of my clients now, I'm like, this is a lifestyle. This isn't a diet. And even if they're doing a photo shoot or if they want to compete in a show, I'm like, you need to be aware that after this, I'm gonna get things in place to make sure that you've got a strategy for a lifestyle, because otherwise things will get messy. That you'll get fucking mega shredded, and then you're probably gonna binge and not be happy, and that isn't gonna give you the results or outcome that you want. So this is what I make people aware of before they go into these kind of endeavors. I'm like, right, I just want to get you in the best shape of your life and keep you there and keep getting you better and make it progressive and make you the happiest person you've ever been, the most productive. Like, I'm talking so fast I can't even breathe. That's where I'm at now. Whereas I used to be like, right, let's get you fucking peeled, and then I'll be like, when we get to that goal, then I'll cross that problem when it gets to it. The problem of you wanting to eat everything in sight. Whereas if I prep you properly, look you up, look after you mentally, then that isn't going to happen. And that's something that's super important to bear in mind. Like, stop thinking quick fix. Stop thinking dates. Like, as much as they're important for making sure you work hard, and I've got goals that I'm going to come to in a minute. Like, think more. This is how I want my life to be, which is with the next point, which is character. So what standards have you got like in place? What are your values? What are your morals? Like, these are going to dictate your self-discipline and the way you operate and the way you are. If you have no standards, if you have no values, if you have no morals, then good luck with discipline, because there's no reason for you to. Who are you trying to be? Like, getting up at 4 a.m, for me, no one's watching me. Like, so I have to have standards, like values and morals of where my identity and what I want it to be, and my vision and where I want to go. That dictates if I get up at 4 a.m. Like what I said earlier about reading 75 books. If I don't get up at 4 a.m, I'm not reading 75 books this year. Like, my day from when the sun is up, my day's too busy. Like, I'm always responding to people. I'm always doing things like this where my diary is full from 6 a.m. till when I go to bed. So I could manage my time better, and I'm working on that. But reading for me during that busy period is difficult, and it's something I'm trying to really improve on. But I know that if I just wake up at 4, in that hour, I'm not going to be disturbed. And even if that's my own thing telling me that, like, I could put my phone in the other room and I could read for an hour, but it doesn't. My brain doesn't work like that in a minute. So that's why I just get up at 4 and I'll read for an hour. Therefore, my goal is 100% managed, and that's getting up at 4 when that's my standard, that's my value, that's my moral. That's what I've set myself out to do. And if you don't have a standard, if you haven't got these values that you want and expect of yourself, then you're not going to get up at 4, or you're not going to do the things that you need to do to move you forward. Like if you want to get in great shape and in great health this year, we all know that you probably need to regulate your calories. You probably need to start eating more fruit and vegetables. You probably need to start eating a little more lean protein. But these are things that you probably need to start doing, but you're not, because your values don't align with your goals and your actions don't align with your goals. And people say this all the time. They're like, oh, I want to get lean, or I want this, I want that, I want to do this. And then I'm like, but mate, you eat KFC for lunch every day. That ain't gonna fucking happen. Like your actions don't align with the goals you've got set. You're being stupid. And this is what I don't get it. Like I struggle to understand it, because I'm like, this is what you have to do. You have to control your opportunity at hand, which is every single day. Like I get it completely. What I said then was, I don't want you to feel like I don't understand. I completely understand. But the resistance that's stopping you from getting to where you want to be isn't anybody else. It's you. And it's not until you take like ownership, responsibility, and set standards of your behavior and what you expect of yourself, that it isn't until them things happen that you take control of your result. And that is probably the best thing I could leave this podcast on, is take ownership of where you are at, realize that your goal is this is what you need to do daily to make that goal happen. Fucking do it. And then that's your standard that you set, your values. Like you're driving past Burger King and you're hungry, but you know you've got a meal at home that you're going to eat that's going to move you forward. That's what makes you drive past the stench of the burger and chips. And there's times where you'll have the burger and chips because it tastes nice, and you're a human being and balance is important. But at the same time, if that's happening repetitively over time, that's going to dictate your results. We are a habit. Like what's that saying? It's one of my favourite sayings. It's the habit of doing things over and over. It's going to really annoy me now. But these little, I'll read books and these little sayings, these little quotes will go into my head, and I'll jot them down in my notes on my phone, and I'll look at them all the time, and I'll be like, I have to mirror these things if I want to see the results that I want to see. And then all of a sudden over time you have this like array of understanding of how your actions and how your day should be, and your mindset and the way you should be thinking should be, to dictate the progress that you want to make. And it probably sounds like I'm a little bit fucking crazy when you listen to this podcast, and I feel like a little bit crazy because I don't want to feel normal. Like I felt normal and slow before, and I didn't like it. Like it doesn't mean I don't like normal people. It just means I like moving forward. I like the feeling of progress. I like the feeling of doing shit and achieving things. That for me has become my drug. It's what I work every fucking day for, and I'm like, I want to move forward. I love the feeling of progress. If I'm stood still, I get anxious. If I'm stood still, I'm hard to be around. So I have to always be making sure that I'm making progress. Otherwise, it fucking paralyzes me, and that's just my personality and the way it works. And it's only through years of self-awareness and working on myself to understand that. So Sundays, for example, used to be my chill day because it's a Sunday. Used to paralyse me. I used to get to the end of Sunday and think, I can't wait to fucking get to work tomorrow and get working on myself again. So now I just I work 7 days a week, or I work on myself 7 days a week. So my habits and my standards and my values, and they still exist every day. And my daily activities and tasks, and the way I eat and the way I drink and what I do, it will just be aligned with the standards I've got set. And there'll be no accident of the result that I'm going to see over the next 3 or 4 years because of my daily actions. And that, I believe in that. And I feel like I've only started nailing that recently. So I'm just thinking ahead, and I'm like, that's going to align with the goals that I've got set. That's going to help provide for my family, because that's what I know, that I'm in control of that. I'm not being a victim to what's happened. I know I'm taking full responsibility, and I know what I need to do to move me forward. And that's so important to know. And so the last point is what I've already touched on a little bit, is goals. So that you must know what you want to do. And it is only when you know what you want, and knowing that what that thing is only when it's powerful, that it will take control of your actions, and it will make sure that you'll work hard. Like, to lose half a stone ain't gonna happen. Like, and same for, just, it has to mean something to you. Like, so for some people, losing half a stone could potentially keep them alive or whatever. So then maybe that is more powerful. But for me, I noticed that my goals only started serving me when it was fucking, like, it gave me that feeling in my stomach where I was like, I have to go and do that. That's when goals start serving me. So when you read or when you'll see something someone say about setting a goal that has like having a powerful why, it's true. And it's only when you have a powerful why do you understand that the role that plays, and then all of a sudden you can just, yeah, your actions seem to change, and you constantly then think about that goal, and then for me, I get angry about it. I'm not angry, but I just get like, I know that if a day goes by where I'm not working in some way, shape, or form towards that goal, then I'm not doing myself or that goal justice. And that's the way you need to see a goal. Whereas if a goal is like, you go a day and you're thinking, didn't do much for that this week, and that's all you feel, then no wonder why you ain't getting nowhere. Whereas if you are genuinely fucking pissed at yourself because you haven't made a step towards that goal, like, here's where you are now, right? If you're watching this on YouTube, and here's where you want to be, like, are you moving the needle, or are you staying still, or are you moving backwards, or is the needle moving further? Like, are you getting closer? If you're not, be pissed. Like, and if you're not pissed, that goal ain't, that goal doesn't even exist. Like, that goal is just completely, you might as well flatline. It's not even worth trying to get. Your goal has to mean something. If you don't know what it is yet, that's fine. But figure it out. Like, figure out what will make you get out of bed at 4 a.m. and graft for what you want. What will make you work hard at 11 p.m. Like, some people are better working through than at night. I'm better in the morning. I'm a morning riser. You don't have to be a 4 a.m. riser like me. You just need to be self-aware and realise, these are the things I need to do today. Whether you do them at 4 a.m. or 11 p.m. or in the middle of the day, doesn't fucking matter. You just need to do them. And that's what's crucial to understand. And yeah, this video today, this podcast has been, I feel like it's been a bit ranty, and I'm almost like revved up, and I almost feel like I'm going to stop this podcast now and just want to go and get on a punch bag for 20 minutes, which I'm actually going to go to the gym after this podcast, but I feel like I need it because I feel like I'm so hungry and I'm so passionate about this and about people understanding that the only thing that's stopping them is the things that are in their head telling them that they can't do it. And I will not, my mission basically is just to spend every single week on this podcast and every video that I do and every minute of my like living life is just to represent an energy and a mindset and a way of doing things that enables people to believe that they can too. Because I'm coming from a position where I'm not academic. Like Thomas Edison, who made the light bulb, I couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't go and put people on the moon either. Like, I've not got that. I haven't got this incredible amount of talent where I could go and shoot hoops all day and be LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. Like, I haven't got this crazy amount of talent. What I have got and what I can bring to the table is things that I can control. Like, I'm never going to be 7 foot tall putting balls in the fucking basketball net, or am I going to be Cristiano Ronaldo? As much as I tried to be for fucking years, I was never going to be that person because I didn't have that. But what I don't lack is the ability to get up and fucking work for what I want. And that's, everyone's got that, because everyone's got time. It's just how you use your time that will dictate if you're moving forward from where you are to where you want to be. And that's how I'm going to end this podcast, guys. Thanks, as always, for your time. I'm super grateful that you choose to listen to this, and I hope that you're almost like revved up as well from listening and thinking, I'm gonna move forward this year. Like, I know that I there's things that I want, and I'm gonna make sure I take action on them. And that for me will make this podcast worthwhile, and it will make this 32 minutes that I've spent ranting to this microphone make that so worthwhile. That you have no idea how much that would mean to me. So, and in the last few weeks, I've had people messaging me on Instagram and on emails about the podcast saying that they're feeling value from it. And that, for me, just one little DM, that changes my day, and it makes my day, and it makes me realise that what I am doing is helping people. Because that's why I do this. I don't do this just to look at the reflection in my Mac and talk to a blue Yeti and think, there's no reason why I do it other than to add value and just to make people aware that if anyone can do it, then you can too. And that's what the Be More message is all about. So, yeah, thanks as always for listening or watching, whatever you're doing. Do me a favour and share it in some way, shape or form on your Instagram story or on Snapchat, and just be like, this is fired me up for the week. And then the more people might then get to see it or listen to it, and get to also have that kick up the arse that they might need to make them push on as well. So then we can start creating a massive shift and a massive like a movement where people do begin to believe in themselves. And then that ripple effect will then help more people. And then that will create a different kind of community. And I think that's what makes me so hungry. And I'm like, I want people to start thinking bigger rather than thinking this is the way life is always going to be for them, because it isn't, unless they let it. So yeah, please share it. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up or whatever the system works here on iTunes. I still haven't really got to know it. But yeah, share it with your friends if you have. Let me know what you think. And next week's episode or podcast, sorry, might actually be the week after, because I'm interviewing him next Friday. So it probably will be the following week. But very soon, we're going to get some more guests on the show, and some very exciting ones at that. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for listening. Thanks for your time, as always. Have an incredible week, and I will catch up with you all very soon. Cheers, guys. Take care.